Mister. Welcome to the Zapata Brand Boxing Podcast, brought to you by Ringside. Go to ringside.com/podcast/podcast, and you too can get 40% off selected brands. Well, last night was a night, actually a good night for Amazon Prime's first boxing show. I thought it was. I was a little off on some of the picks, but ultimately, it wasn't a bad show.
No, I thought it was real good. It was some hilarious moments. There some hilarious moments. It was a bloodbath in the second fight in the main event. Something that you actually said. You said that was going to be a better fight than the previous.
Thurman versus
and that was shocker.
Oh, let's go right back. Let's go from the undercard up. The undercard, the first two fights. It was Martinez a flyweight fight. That was a good fight. It was aggressive fight. I thought Martinez won clearly. I didn't think the decision was close.
Unfortunately, I was driving at the time. I couldn't see that.
It was close. The fight was closer than I thought it should have been in the scorecards. The guy got knocked down twice. So, it's hard to come back when you get knocked down twice. But after that was, Aristonis Lara. 40 years old, all of a sudden now he has knockout power. Don't know what's going on there. That's a little suspicious. But a hell of a knockout. I thought overall those two fights on the undercard were very good.
Okay.
Then let's go to the co-main event. This one,
that's the one I wanted to see, and that's why I made sure I was home for that.
That was what I expected. Towards the last couple days, I think people have been, and me included, I thought maybe Rolly would have a chance, but I initially, if you go back to my initial picks, I knew this wasn't going to go
flip flop now.
This was too much. This was going to be a knockout, and wow, did he get knocked out?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that he survived the first round.
Yeah, he was on roller skates. He was flying around.
He was on roller skates.
Not a good fight there for him. I don't know if this is the end of Rolly Romero. Definitely the end of him on a high level. Because he doesn't have the technique. But here's what I will say though: he's only been doing this for maybe 10 years.
Yeah,
and he fought for 2 world titles, made a lot of money, pretty good amount of money. To give him credit for that, and I give him credit that he fought. I mean, he was swinging even when he was getting knocked down. He looked like Andrew Gallardo when Andrew Gallardo was not. He'll swing. It's just one of the things I said. Pitbull is incredibly technical. And he's very powerful. And you saw right away that he was not playing around.
So let's see. What do you think, Pitbull? I mean, I know they said they were going to set something up, right, for Pitbull. The next fight is going to be the winner.
They were saying Hayden Garcia, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
I'm telling you, last podcast I said I think Tank and him for the rematch.
But why? Why would Tank take a risk of that, not making as much money as you would make if you would fight someone like Shakur Stevenson or someone like that? I don't think they'll fight.
No.
I mean, too risky.
But I think Cruz really wants that fight. He really wants that fight.
Yeah, I mean, but you gotta remember, Tank did break his hand.
Yeah, and Cruz,
and he outboxed him.
And Cruz, was only in fighting for the last 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks training, so short training camp, and both were at disadvantages. So.
I would say so, yes, but I still think I'll put it this way: I think Tank wins, but I don't think he wants that fight. That's a fight that you got to kind of. But then again, who's he been? He hasn't been fighting anybody. He hasn't really been fighting anybody of significance. Tank's fighting a guy, Frank Martin, who I think is overmatched here. I think he's fighting a guy who's overmatched. You can tell me all you want about the sparring that they had and whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me. I think he's overmatched.
So let me ask you this: with Rolly, you said he's done with. Let's say Broner wins. Him and Broner might be an interesting fight, don't you think?
I think there's 2 good matches out there for Rolly. I think him and Broner, and I think him and Garcia, because I think Garcia is going to get washed on the 20th of April. So they're both coming off losses. Oh, they can sell a fight. That'll be a good one.
Rolly can sell a fight.
He can sell a fight. He's there. I mean, I think he'd get into Ryan's head a little bit.
I mean, it's not that hard.
No. Good point. Good point, Diz. Good point. I think he's not as. They're both real. If Ryan loses, excuse me, he's definitely on his They're both definitely on the way.
Back end.
I think they're on the back end now. Believe it or not. I think they're looking towards retirement more than they are looking for.
And they're young.
What's happening? Yeah, they're young kids, but you know what?
Social media.
Young kids, social media made a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to get your head beat up, no, I'd be out. I'd be out pretty quickly too. I'd be, man, I'm out of here. Because this boxing is a shitty sport. It is a shitty sport to be in.
But I'll tell you, the fans were behind Cruz. I mean, it was that was nice.
All right, you know why they were behind Cruz and everything else?
Why?
Because of the gloves off series and because of the previews. If you saw him, he really, he was at a point in his life before he fought Tank, that he said that he couldn't even afford to buy a tortilla for his family.
Wow.
He said, and he was like, I felt like I wasn't a man. Now look at him.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's going to make a crap load of money, which is good for him. He deserves it. He worked hard. He showed everybody that he had the will and the fire to do it. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, and finished off Rolly pretty easy. And you know what? It doesn't matter how hard he hit him. He's still moving forward. Moving forward.
So give a lot of credit to Cruz. Did you see? He did look a little bit. You did say this. He did look a little heavy before. A couple weeks before in the press tour, he was looking kind of heavy. Do you think he'll move up in weight?
I think eventually. The only thing I would say is he's a little smaller. He's a little smaller, so short wise. But if he can carry that punch with him and the aggression, I think he wins. But I don't think he beats Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney boxes him, beats the brakes off of him, boxing him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a guy who can hang with those guys, but that are boxers. But if you put him in there with punchers, man, I think he has a shot with anybody who's a puncher at 147. I mean, he's really a good. He's one of these fighters who's good. His technique is very good. His defense is great. He doesn't get hit all that much. He did get hit a little bit in that fight with Rolly, but I think he really wanted to get Rolly out of there, and that's one of the reasons why.
I honestly think he knew Rolly couldn't hurt him, and that's why he was like.
I think after the first round, I think he kind of just walked. I mean, he did not back up.
Yep,
he just kept moving forward. And that really put him. It put Rolly on his back foot. I mean, he was put him on roller skates.
Yeah, technically, it was on roller skates, but that Rolly doesn't like going back.
He has to come forward because he has to use his punching power. And as bad as Rolly's technique is he makes up for power, but now you have to start questioning his power.
Yeah,
because
I mean, he did catch him, and he didn't even move.
He didn't move him, and now you start questioning that. Is he because he doesn't have the backup tools that if you're not knocking that guy out. You got to say, okay, well, I got a box
plan B,
and you don't have a plan B.
Yep.
You have a problem. You have a big problem. So he didn't have plan B. He had plan A, and that was it.
Yep.
And that was the knock on Rolly from day one. Good fighter. As far as he's a brawler, he's got a tremendous heart. You can't take nothing away from him. He'll take whatever fight. He'll take whatever fight you want. He will fight anybody. He'll promote the hell out of your show. But after a while, you do have to have some skill. You got to be able to adjust. He can't adjust. He goes one way, and that's it. And when he gets hit, and he gets knocked down, he is all over the place. Legs, hands, arms, they're all over the place.
Yeah, that's true.
And he can't grab, he can't hold. Then they took a point away from Rolly for holding. He was going to get knocked out anyway. That had nothing to do with it. But that's a guy.
He did a split, didn't he?
He looked like I said, I put a short up about him doing it. It looked like when I was in the 80s doing on the roller skating rink. I mean, with the music and everything.
I mean, that's the difference between different level fighters is the adjustments.
They make the adjustments. Tank does it better than anybody. Tank and Devin Haney are the two that I think do it better than anyone. You can't even say Shakur Stevenson.
Not yet.
Because Shakur Stevenson hasn't been tested in a way where he had to do something to change. Those two fighters have, and they've both adjusted. Look at the Lomachenko fight. Haney adjusted very well. I thought he lost the last 2 rounds, but he adjusted very well to get to that point where he's ahead on the scorecards. Tank,
and to admit it, because in that fight he was like, "Look, he knows everything I'm doing."
Yeah, and that's what I mean. He adjusted very quickly, and not a knock on Bill Haney.
No.
Bill Haney didn't give him anything to do. He did it himself. Yeah. Adjusted, knew what he was doing, and then they picked it up and went. Tank Davis does that in every fight. He can adjust and do everything. It's like the coach we had here, George Curry. He can adjust. You might beat us in the first half. That second half, he makes the adjustments. Bill Belichick makes adjustments.
Just like Mayweather when he fought Cotto.
Mayweather.
When he was putting his hands up, he was going around the hands, throwing the hooks.
He's like, okay, what do I do here? That's the difference right there, where you're able to think inside that ring instead of just throwing wildly and saying this punch is going to land and I'm going to knock him out. Then it doesn't land, you don't knock him out. Now what the hell do you do?
You're on skates.
You have no choice. Yeah, you're on roller skates, holding on, looking goofy. And that's a bad look. And even if it was a bad look for him, and that's why I think Rolly's done it. He might fight 2 fights after, like a Garcia or a Broner, which I think would be a good fight, or Blair Cobb. If Blair Cobb were to beat Adrian Broner, that's a good fight because Blair Cobb can talk a fight.
I got one for you. What about Cruz versus Lopez?
Tio, I like it.
They're both coming forward.
But Tio's a little more now. You know what I mean. Tio doesn't look good. Hasn't looked good the last couple of fights. I don't know if it's just Tio just doesn't look good. And he's having a bad. Couple the people he's fighting are bad. Jermaine Ortiz really didn't engage much. I don't know if it's that, or is it he just is now going backwards a little bit. I don't know. I always thought Tio was one of the better fighters. I thought he was one of the best fighters.
He had to show in this last fight. He had to show him that he was a little elite.
He didn't. Yeah, he had to show in this fight. He had to show something. He really didn't, and that was a bad look. That was a bad look for him. So, not. I don't know. Cruz is really streaking now. Tio is on the has had a bad couple fights, not good fights. So whether that is a difference, I don't know. But surely we'll find out. Surely you're going to find out pretty quickly here who the next person is up.
Yeah. Let's go to the main event.
So let's go. Let's switch gears now to the main event. Main event originally scheduled to be Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu. It drops out. Initially, I didn't think Keith Thurman would be a good fight against Tim Tszyu. Didn't think so.
He did say that.
So, put in Sebastian Fundora. I thought it was a better fight because he was more aggressive. His guy throws a lot of punches, fights on the inside. He's 6'5.5". Well, we got what we asked for. Yeah. You talk about a bloodbath and a war and a close fight, entertaining fight.
Yep.
We got it.
Yeah.
Sebastian Fundora wins a split decision. Let me ask you first.
Sure.
What did you think of the fight? What was your thoughts on the fight?
I thought it was a great fight. I actually thought that what we were talking about with the adjustments and everything, Tim Tszyu, when he got cut, I don't know if that's the first time he's ever been cut. He's been cut because I don't think he knew how to adjust with the cut, the blood, and all that. Because I think that really bothered him, the cut.
Well, I will tell you what the problem was. The problem was the corner wasn't prepared. The corners did him no favors.
There you go.
They're using the wrong kind of medication to clot that blood. It was in a bad spot. It was on the top, and there's a blood vessel that goes right through here. If it cuts, you will not stop it. You can't stop it. They did him no favors. And even in the post-fight press conference,
they could have stopped that.
They should have stopped it in round 4. It would have gone to the scorecards or no contest.
Yeah,
because it wasn't a punch. So if you stop, so the corner did him no favors. You do not send him out for that round. You don't send him out. You say, man, he's cut, can't see. This happened before. I forget who it was, and the guy was cut. I don't know. He was a good fighter too. And he was cut, and they said, hey, we can't see. Guy can't see. It was an accidental headbutt. And they stopped the fight. That should have been stopped. The corner should have stopped that. It would have preserved. It would have preserved, number one, his fight versus Spence, because that was next. That was next.
Right. You were right on that one. But would it have? Because maybe they could have did a rematch.
I think they wanted. I think they just wanted to get this match over. So I don't think they would have done a rematch because it was a headbutt or accidental cut. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So you can get that out of the way, and eventually they want Spence back in. Fundora is with PBC.
Yep.
It's an easy fight to make.
Yep. You can't knock Fundora. He did his thing. He did
exactly what he had to do. He put himself in a good position now. He's a unified champion, WBC, WBO champion.
And what do you always say? In boxing is the only sport. What?
Boxing's the only sport where you can get knocked out and in your next fight become a unified champion. It's crazy. The only sport in the world. That'd be like you losing the first round of the playoffs and you come back
next week
playing in the Super Bowl. It doesn't make any sense, but that's boxing. We get used to it. I've been used to this for years.
Yep.
But the cornerman, I'm telling you, even in the post-fight press conference, Tim Tszyu was talking. They said, "What about your corner?" He said, "No comment." those cornermen will be fired.
Of course.
There's no way.
Of course.
No way you come into a corner of a world unification bout, never mind a world title, and you're not prepared with the proper medication to put on your fighter's cut. And that was a bad cut. That cut would not have stopped. It's on the top. The vein goes right here. It's like a main vein. It goes right up here. He got cut right up here.
It's crazy.
And it cuts. And if it cuts, you cannot stop it. You can't.
I mean, there was a time I was like, are both of them full of blood?
They're both full of blood. Yeah, they're both full of blood.
Yeah.
Let alone, and Fundora was all over him.
Yep.
Not a great look for the corner. Now, I will say this in defense of the corner. There's times where you are like, holy shit, what just happened? Now,
you have to adjust too.
You got to be on point too.
Yeah.
So you hope it's not in a big fight like this. This is a huge fight. Because let's just say, for example, he made $5 million. They said he made 10, but that was his manager said no.
10 million.
They said he made 10. So they said that's what happened. He made 10. Let's just say he made 5. Be safe. What do you think he's gonna make for a Spence fight? Spence's comeback fight, doing it there. So you're looking at the long term.
Yeah.
You're not looking at the short term. You make sure this is taken care of.
And that's why you stop
it. That's why you stop the fight. Yeah. Horrible from their corner. I don't even remember who was in their corner. I glanced at it quickly. I don't know if it's dad or whatever. It might even, no, it's not his dad. His dad's not his corner. His dad, I think, manages him though, or is a consultant with him. But someone's losing their job.
Yeah.
Monday, someone will be getting a pink slip because you cost them a lot of money.
So then you go to after the fight. What you predicted the winner of that was going to fight Spence. Spence was there.
Spence gets in the ring, confronts Fundora. There's a little luster off that right now because I still think Fundora's a good fighter. I do. I think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's at the elite level yet because of the Mendoza fight. Now, Mendoza got knocked out earlier.
Yeah.
In the show. So how good is he? I don't know. I mean, did Fundora just get caught? I don't know. And I like Fundora. I like him. I like him a lot. He's a good kid. I just don't know if he's at. So could Spence beat him? Probably. Let's say probably.
But how much did the Crawford fight take out of Spence?
How much did everything take out of Spence?
Yeah. The accident, all that.
Accident. He said he wasn't living a great life. He drinks a lot. He smokes a lot. So how much does he have left? So that's a factor. It takes a little luster off the fight. But I still think Spence will fight Tim Tszyu at some point. They're both coming off losses. So it could be, hey, whoever fights, but that cut won't heal for a long time.
Yeah.
That's going to be a bad. So why not fight Fundora and then the winner fight them? And what that does essentially is freeze out Terrence Crawford again. Yep. Terrence Crawford is not with PBC. There's the problem. And this is, again, a problem with boxing, but we got to accept it. That's what it is. Bob Arum and Don King could always make fights. And they always have. They always work together. Somehow work together. Okay. You keep freezing his fights out. It's going to be. I want to see how many people bought this fight. I'd be curious.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Overall,
what do you think about the prime?
Overall, it was great. You know why it was great? I'll tell you why too.
Easy.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. The fights in the ring. How bad was that? The Zone pay-per-view. 7 hours of bullcrap. They went right. Listen, I went when the first fight was over.
When you texted me and was like, "Hey, the Rolly fight's gonna," I'm like, "Already?"
Yeah. When we went out to Perkins to eat, and by the time we got our food and we're ready to go on our way into the car, Rolly was on his way to the ring. And I was like, holy shit, they're moving this along. That's what I like. On the East Coast, main event at 9:00.
Yep. Where was this again?
What's that?
Where was this fight?
It was in Vegas. T-Mobile.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And you have it on at 9-10 o'clock. That's good. That's good. 12 o'clock midnight is horrible. It's horrible for a show. On the East Coast. West Coast, I mean, who cares? I mean, West Coast, I don't care.
It's yawning. Sorry.
Find that boring?
No, I had that in since we started.
But it's still. I mean, that. I love that. That was good. It reminded me a lot of those HBO days. A lot of HBO days.
They got to start a little early, man.
They can't have the main event at 11:30, 12 o'clock.
No, it kills the East Coast.
Kills the East Coast, man. It's not good. And I know Vegas they want the big high rollers in there, but they'll get used to it. They got a whole night. They got the whole night afterwards to do.
And then now, the big high rollers, they want them in there, but a lot of stuff's going, digital.
So
it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's going to come to a point where they're going to have little things in front of you. If you want to gamble, you do there.
Yep.
Gamble, they won't fight. Also, I want to really quick point out, Carmel Moten had a good showing. Yep. Great showing. He was there.
3-0.
He fought a guy who was undefeated also, was tough.
Yep.
Game fighter. But you could tell that this kid is
on a different level.
This kid's legit. Yep. Legit. Carmel Moten, I think he's going to be one of these guys who you're going to looking forward to.
That was my prospect of the year, I think, right?
No, your prospect of the year was Shushu.
Oh.
So
I did nominate him though.
Yeah, Shushu, but Shushu's good. My point is,
you're on my
sorry.
mic.
But anyway, my point with that one was it's a good showing for him. It shows these guys.
Now, is he with Mayweather Promotions?
I think so. I would imagine.
I mean, he trains there.
PBC. I mean, he's there. So good fighter. But overall, that show was good. Yeah. That show was a good card. Mm-hmm. It was the production was a little weird. I'll tell you this too. We were in the ppv.com chat, live chat. It was good. Lance Pugmire, Jim Lampley, Chris Algieri.
And Kevin was there because he had UFC, right?
He had UFC.
Yep.
Yeah, he had that. So it was good. Really good. A really good show. And Chris's partner, Dan, was in there. I want to see Jim Lampley call these fights.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jim Lampley would do a hell of a job calling these fights.
Is he's done? Or
is
that his decision, or
no? He wants to call fights. He wants to call fights. I think him being there,
he's the voice. He's the
voice of boxing.
And even one of my friends was telling me, who was watching the podcast, who's like, his voice. You can pick up his voice
anywhere. He has that distinct voice. That's what you need there. But they also did those vignettes about Pitbull and rolling the background. That's very good, and it's inexpensive. George Djokovic does it, and he did it for years at HBO. Yeah. Bring George on to do that stuff.
Now, I think would that be with Amazon, right?
Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Work with them. Work with Amazon Prime. Now, I know something happened with George and PBC, from what I understand, but he'd be a good guy. Even ppv.com.
That's what I was going to say.
Bring him on to do that. Now, I don't know. I think ppv.com is just
streaming,
just a broadcasting platform, because you don't have to buy the subscription.
But can't Jim just announce on there? And no, they have to go with
who they have. They're just a broadcaster. So I don't know. I don't know why. It's unfortunate. I think Jim Lampley, Joe Goossen's a little. Joe Goossen doesn't. I mean, he's a good guy. He knows way more than I do. But I don't know. That's not the voice that you got used to. I think an Al Bernstein. Great. Al Bernstein, Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman, Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones was good. Paulie Malignaggi, I think was really good.
Paulie's good.
Paulie's real good. Those guys, who's I think is one of the best right now?
Hold on. Who?
Chris Algieri.
Okay, yes.
You never hear him say
Yep.
Never. I try to pick that up to see. You never hear him say this is and Paulie's good at that too, but you never do. And it's amazing how well he speaks. After looking for someone on the TV that looks good, because Algieri dresses good, looks nice. That's a guy I could see being the next big voice of boxing there. But overall, I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a really good show. Yeah. I was shocked because I didn't think there's going to be a good show. I think the couple of good things that I liked about it: number one, the speed of the show. Yep. Number two,
what was the end time? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. I was dozing off.
Okay. I can hold on.
I don't know, but I'm sure. Let's see. What was it? Runtime? Maybe they're doing that.
It was around 11 o'clock, 11:15.
Amazon boxing.
That's good.
Show.
The end 11:15.
Yeah, because that's what most people, the showtime, the runtime. How long? Okay. It doesn't say. I can't. But anyway, you know what? I think Amazon might do that for the regular customers, for the Prime customers, though. But I'll tell you what, if they want to make a splash, which I thought they wouldn't, if you look at my podcast before, I'm like, Why are you putting this on? Or whatever. They made up for it.
Yep.
They made up for it in the good fights. It was good fights.
Yeah. It was worth the money.
It was worth the money, and it was good, and it was tremendous show. Tremendous show. I thought.
Did they say anything about the next card?
The next card is Tank. It's Tank, I believe.
Okay, on there on Amazon.
Yes, but I do think that's a not a free one. They're doing free ones in between. I'll quickly look at it here next
because I heard that they were going to announce it on the show.
I think that would be it.
Okay.
The next show. Jesus Christ. There it is. Amazon Prime boxing schedule. There it is. Right here. See. Okay, so you had it's gonna be Canelo.
Whoa.
Yeah, May.
Ooh.
Yeah, May. Why do I keep thinking I'm in April? We are in April.
Yeah, technically we are.
So yeah. May. 24 hours. Well, there you go. Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia. That again.
Yes.
It's gonna be an explosive fight as long as it lasts. I think this reminds me of Rolly Romero against Pitbull Cruz. It's a fight where a guy is very, very, very aggressive. I think he's made to order for Canelo. He's going to make Canelo look good. And that would set up the fight if they were going to have it in September for David Benavidez, which I don't know. The fight, if the money's out there, although Turkey Sheik Ali said he wants to fight Benavidez, the winner of the Better Be Bivol show.
Yeah, that's what you said too.
Yeah, I thought that would make sense because then what if you become unified champion at the 175?
Then Canelo's going to be like, look.
But well, hold on. But the problem with him, now you're going to go back down to 68.
No,
remember
Canelo will go up.
I don't know if he will. He said he wants to fight at 68 because why would he go up and lose his belts? Why didn't he just drop his belt now and fight him? Drop his belt now. But he wants the belts. So come get me at 68. Well, he's got a unified championship. He's got an undisputed championship. You're not big down with me.
Catch
you
weight.
come down. No, you can't. You can't
make a belt.
Okay, well, make it for a belt, but you can't have a catch weight with a belt.
No,
never
make
happened.
A belt. They would make a belt. You know how they do those things.
With $1 million belt. Remember that? Even Ted DiBiase made one.
No, then they just made
the BMF belt.
No, they just made something.
No, they didn't. Them? Boxing?
Yes. No. Wasn't the Pacquiao and Mayweather in the belt? There was a belt for that. There was a belt for something.
The money belt.
Something else.
Yeah, it was like all jewels and stuff.
I thought that was stupid. WBC or WBC.
Yeah, but it had jewels and stuff on it, whatever.
But still, hey, do that. The Mexican belt or something, something like that.
I'm telling you, that fight, I think is going to happen. I have a funny feeling it's going to happen. I think this is all hyperbole on the outside.
Or
no, after he fights in September. I think it's going to happen in May. I think it's going to happen next May, which I said a long time ago. It's going to happen in May in the Sphere.
And no matter what happens, Canelo's going to fight Crawford next after that, or no? Or do you think Canelo's done?
No,
is that Canelo's last fight?
I honestly, my thought, because he's getting frozen out. Crawford's getting frozen out here.
He's got to do something.
I think he's going to fight in September.
Who? Crawford?
I think he'd fight Chris Eubank. I think he has to fight before September. If he fights now and he fights Chris Eubank now, he may fight Canelo in September. May. But I think I think they're really eyeing May of 2025 for Benitez and Canelo in the Sphere. I think it's the biggest fight they could make. It is a huge fight. They talk Saudi Arabia and whatever. They go over there. They got to go to the zone. He's not going.
Saudi Arabia is only with the zone, right?
Yeah, he's not going over there. He will not go. He will not go. So that's kind of, again, come to this side of the street, that side of the street. It's still the same shit. But who would have thought Mayweather would fight McGregor? Anything's possible when there's that kind of money involved.
Who would think Paul would fight Tyson? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Again, those rules came out, and we're not talking about that because people are going to kill me.
Yeah.
About it, but let's call a spade here. The best fight to make is Canelo Benavidez. So you have to make that fight at some point, which I think they will. Money talks. I think it's hyperbole. These guys are talking the way they are because nobody talks negotiation in the public. They would never do that.
No,
unless they wanted something to be leaked out.
Yep.
It seems like it's being leaked out little by little or dripped out. But eventually they'll fight. I believe. Well, I mean, unless
that's the thing. Everybody says, "Oh, it's leaked out." It's not leaked out. Everybody, they want it to leak out.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
of course they do.
It's not leaked out.
They're smarter than we are. They do this for a long time. That's what they do.
They want to see what the buzz is going to be.
They want to see, and everybody wants it.
Yep.
So eventually it'll happen, I believe. But I do think it's going to be 2025. You can hold me to that one. Everyone says September. I don't know.
No, it would have to be.
I don't know. I think May is the way to go. It's independence. It's Mexican Independence Month. I think that's special. That's a special thing for Canelo.
He always fights.
And now he also fights in September too.
But still.
But it's different.
2 Mexicans. You're gonna have to put it on May 4th.
And the spear. I'm telling you, that's going to be
a spear,
because that's the spear is the where they're going to go. That is going to be the next, because Madison Square Garden owns it. That's going to be the next thing. It's unbelievable. I know 2 people went to a concert there. They said the experience is unbelievable.
But still, I think it would be better in Dallas Stadium, right by Mexico, over 100,000 people.
Could either or, but I think they're really looking at that one. They're really looking at that one. No, I like it. But either way, real quickly, quick update.
Yeah.
April 27, 2024. I'm jumping back in the ring. Main event there. Repeat of Revenge, Berwick High School. We had 2 of the undercard people on, 1 co-main event, 1 the semi-main event. They were both on. Those interviews drop next week. Ashley Miller and Mackenzie Mazer.
He almost did it again.
Almost did it again. I don't know why, because that you jacks me up. Because it reminds me of Dan Muser. So they'll be there. Dan Muser, who will be in attendance that day. Greg Valentino will be there. Jersey Jay-Z will be there. We're trying to get a quick hits today. We just, with Easter coming on, something, it just messed everything up. But either way, that's all from me. Coach Diz, anything last minute?
No, hopefully next week I'll be here and do another one.
We'll tell you what day we'll be here. During this week, I'm going to try to get a bunch of people on. I'm really trying to hook it up. I'm not sure if I can do it. It's just a busy week. The colleges are back in.
Yep.
So we're kind of busy with a lot of the other things.
Maybe you have Kevin Iolian to talk
Kevin
about
Iolian
UFC this past week.
This past
300 is coming up.
Coming up this week. When is 300?
I think it's April something. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's next month.
Okay. So I'll maybe get Kevin Iolian here, George Djokovic on. He has One Round with George. Great YouTube channel. Go there, like and subscribe there also. And like and subscribe to this channel. We're really shooting past that 1,000. We're heading for 100,000. I want to go to 100,000. 100,000 subscribers. I'm gonna try. That's
a stretch goal.
That's a stretch goal. I'm reaching. But either that or this is Coach Diz. I am George Zapata. We will see you next week. I will see you during the week with interviews. Other than that, nothing really much going on.
Nope.
So don't be
happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, happy Easter. Don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do with yours. We will see you next week.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.